how big is the homeless problem right now in Kern County?
I mean, it's big. I mean, it's gotten bigger. I've been here in my role for nearly 9 years, and in the last 3, I've seen a significant change in the way that there's a spike of homelessness in the community.
So it's growing.
It has, and you know, you can talk. You know, there's many reasons why that is. I mean, a lot of it. You know, you have a lot of folks that are suffering from mental illness. There's folks that are down out on their luck. There's not enough low-income housing, the stock available for low-income housing. It's not there. There has not been a mass building of low-income housing in our community in many years.
A lot of people will say a lot of this is drug-based.
Yeah, there's substance abuse too. Of course, there is. I mean, we also have a recovery program here at the Mission. Folks that are wanting to get off of those addictions,
Right.
and that's great. I mean, we're trying to give them some sort of help in the future so they get out of it. I mean, they came to us because they're tired of being sick and tired.
The goal for you is for these people not to be here permanently, right? This is the goal for you is to look. We're here to help you get on your feet, not to be a landing spot.
It's not a long-term housing. I mean, when you get somebody through the shelter program, when you get somebody through programs, whether it's men's or women's program, or if it's women and children going through recovery, the whole situation is not to keep them under our roof for the rest of their lives. It's to help them get out of that issue, to tackle those problems, for them to get into their own housing, to start providing for themselves, to start doing stuff like we all do. Like we all want to take care of ourselves and pay for our own bills and go to the grocery store and do our own stuff.
Right.
I mean, that's ultimately what we want these folks to be in track 4.
Walking in here, and you're going to show us the facility in a little bit, right? We'll take a look around. There's noticeably some people that have serious mental issues.
Sure.
I mean, talking to themselves, schizophrenia, all kinds of stuff out there. Some question, do those people have a chance? And then not only that, but is there any way to really help those people if, they don't know, how do you help someone like that? Like, what's the answer for someone like that?
Let me tell you something. I really honestly believe that everybody can be helped. That everybody deserves an opportunity for help. And that's where we have people in this community like behavioral health and others that are willing to help these folks. They just have to be identified. I mean, they're, like you mentioned early on in our conversation, they're coming out from a lot of different places. Are they being bussed in from LA or Texas or some other state? We're just not seeing that data, but I can tell you this, that the homeless population is a migratory population. If you go downtown Bakersfield right now, and you stand in a corner, and you look to your right or left, there may be a homeless person or two in those corners, but if you come back 2 hours later, you're probably not going to see that same person in that same spot because they moved to a different spot.
One thing I've noticed, and maybe just because I live there, but Rosedale, 10 years ago, the homeless population of Rosedale is a little bit different than it is now. Now You're starting to see pockets of people migrate into Rosedale and I'd imagine into other parts of the city, right? Where maybe they were downtown at one point more often. Is that fair to say?
That's 100% fair assessment. I mean, we're seeing people not just in downtown, like you mentioned, but we're seeing them out in the northwest, the southwest, the southeast, over by the Auto Mall. I mean, they're everywhere, off the freeway. You take a drive as you go down to, let's say, the outlets, and just take a look off the 99, and there may be a homeless encampment that's right off the freeway.
So this is actually something new, right? You guys have...
Yeah, we put that up, I think it was November.
Right. And this actually, you got to have cameras all over the campus?
All over the campuses, we have a bird's eye view over just about every single corner.
Yeah, very cool.
And it's smart, I mean, from a security standpoint.
Yeah, I'm going to follow you out here.
All right.
How'd you get started in this? Like, what made you want to get started in this?
That's a great question. I mean, I've always had the heart, to help the less fortunate, the poor. When I go to different parts of our city or different parts of the country, when I've seen you just have a lot of people that are in need. And, in our conversation, we talked about, the people coming to us that are addicted, that need help. I mean, I've always had a heart for people, always had a heart to help the underdog, the person that needed something, if it's food, if it's help, if it's overnight shelter, if it's some sort of help. We wanted to be that person. So this fits actually right into, who I am.
Yeah.
And what my parents, the values that they instilled in me as a child.
It's easy to judge, isn't it?
It's very easy to judge, but that's the thing that when you have people that are staying here, let's say at the shelter, everybody has a story. Everybody has a reason how they got here,
Yeah.
and why they're here.
Right.
But as soon as they come to these doors, we want to help them.
Yeah.
We want to help them, and
Do you
in
listen
their
to
lives.
people's stories? I mean, do you ever ask, like, hey, tell me how you got here?
Yeah, I do from time to time. But I also look at them. I want them to be in a spot that they want to keep their dignity too. Maybe
Right.
they don't want to say anything.
Yeah.
You want to help them. You want to provide those things, but that's not the immediate thing that we do. Is pounce on them and start asking them all these questions. I mean, that's where it comes in, and we begin to build a relationship with them.
And there's probably other people, though, that do love to tell their story, right? I mean,
There's people, yeah.
So it goes both ways. I mean, I would
It
imagine.
goes both ways, and I do think, I really believe there's a time and place for that.
Right.
And then some folks may not want family members to know that they're here. So,
Yeah. Or people they went to school with, or relatives, or all that stuff, right?
And you get that sometimes when people are down here, let's say volunteering.
Yeah.
Had a story of something that happened to us probably about 3-4 years ago. There was a brother, a man that was staying here at a shelter. His brother came here to volunteer over Thanksgiving, right? He hadn't seen his brother probably in like 20 years. They got into a spat, and I think they were from Michigan. It was an upper state, upper Midwest state. And they hadn't seen each other, got into a fight 20-some years ago. They hadn't seen each other. He comes over and volunteers here, serves in one of our community meals. It was Thanksgiving that year. And all of a sudden he sees his brother at the food line getting served. And he's like, what the heck? Well, how did this happen?
Yeah.
And it was just like they reconnected right there. And
It's amazing.
it was a pretty cool story that you have people that have different backgrounds, that come from different places.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we're gonna go into our shelter. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Carlos.
How are you? So this is one of our facilities right here. We wash everybody's clothes. We have 2 facilities like this on property. These things are going between 18 and 24 hours a day.
So wait, so if you're
We wash their
homeless,
clothes.
wow, that's a good service,
Yeah,
isn't it?
right? That's what we do. We wash their clothes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I started about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and worked till 2 o'clock in the women take over.
4:30 a.m. You're out here washing people's clothes,
Yes, sir.
and until what time?
The women take over too, so I got to be out of here by 2.
So we have shifts.
Yeah.
Amazing, man.
And you're going through our programs, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Plus, I'm a chapel assistant, and I take care of all the toilet paper.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, good on that, man.
So how long you been in program?
6 months.
Do you mind being on camera?
Oh no, I don't mind.
Okay.
I signed the paper.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
Very good, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. 6 months more to go, and it has changed my life tremendously.
Do you feel like this place has helped you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where were you at before?
I was here for probably a year and a half, but going through a divorce and had nowhere to go, and staying in my truck. And then John England, a good friend of mine that I went to high school with, or grade school, invited me here, and it has actually been a total blessing. It really is,
I love that outlook, man.
it's a total blessing.
Yeah.
It is.
Good, man. Well, keep it up.
I love it. I know a lot of the homeless people that are broken, and in the morning I give them a hello, good morning, how you doing, hugs, because I was somewhat there,
Did you ever think you would be here?
No,
I'll say, like, a lot of people never ever would think they'd be homeless or be in a position like this, right?
no. I had my marriage was 24 years. I was in a good home for 16 years, 4 bedrooms, all that stuff.
Amazing.
Yep,
All right. Thank you very much.
absolutely, absolutely.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
I honestly feel, this is my opinion, is that there's not enough scared straight, maybe is the term, I don't know, in the 7th grade, 8th grade, before these kids decide to experiment with meth, heroin, pot, whatever it is, to let them know that, look, this is where it starts. Sounds innocent. It's a party at someone's house and everybody's having a great time. The road, if it's not caught, is here.
Right.
And I'm not sure that is taught in the early game. I guess
So you're talking about prevention.
right.
It is kind of funny that you even bring that up. I grew up in the 80s, right? I don't know how old you are.
Yeah.
I'm fairly young.
Yeah.
But do you remember Nancy Reagan used to talk about say no to drugs?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah,
It was
war
kind
on
of
drugs.
the war on drugs. That was like what, mid 80s when
Yeah.
her husband
It was an
Ronald
MTV
Reagan-
campaign. It was
Remember
everywhere.
that?
Yeah.
It was everywhere.
Yeah.
And I say this now. We need to do that. We need to do, as corny as that sounds.
Yeah.
I still remember it. You remember it.
Right.
That we need to do something like that again at a level that's going after the high school kids. Now, if you go to our programs right now, whether men or women,
Yeah.
we're finding a lot of people are coming into our programs. They're 19 or 20 years old. They're very, very young, and you start asking them, "How did I get to this? I mean, how did you get to this spot?" They would tell you, "You know what? I started when I was 14. A group of us got in a garage and started smoking weed, and that led to harder drugs.
Yeah.
And now I'm a full-blown drug addict." I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we're seeing
Right.
through these doors. Before, if you know, let's rewind back to when I first got here 9 years ago. It was mid-50s person that was, you know, alcoholic, that kind of thing. But now, as the generations have changed, you're seeing the younger demographics of folks coming in here. They're a lot younger. They're addicted to drugs, and it's horrible because you're that young and you have so much life ahead of yourself, but you got that situation that you're dealing with, and all the burnings of bridges, all the burnt bridges that person has had through the years.
Right. Family, everything.
Family, friends, relationships. Nobody wants anything to do with them.
Right. At some point, they lose all their connections.
That's right.
Yeah.
And law enforcement's after them too. Yeah, this is what we call the day center.
This is the day center. Okay.
The day center. Right now, they're actually cleaning it. This is the time where they do the cleaning and they do a changeover. But this is where folks that when it's hot or cold, they can stay in here.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell there's a TV for them to watch, and I mean,
Today's a nice day, but when it's 112 out.
This is the place to be.
Right.
This becomes actually a cooling center.
Very cool.
Right in this spot.
Yeah.
So right in through these doors.
Okay.
I'm going to go in through here, sir. And this is
So this is the spot where you have X amount of beds, right?
yeah. This is the small. I think there's about 30 beds in here.
30 beds.
And then in the other facility, there's about 120.
Right. And at what time can someone check in here or check out?
9 p.m. and 9 p.m. for check-in. Like a gentleman like this, usually guys are done working,
Yeah.
so they can come in here
Really?
during that time, right? So, but in the future, we're actually taking this wall down.
This
right
wall's
here.
coming down?
This wall's coming down, and we're actually going to put 40 beds
Yeah.
right in this facility.
What are the qualifications to stay here? Can you be employed and stay here, or do you have to actually be unemployed? Is there qualifications?
There is no. I mean, whoever needs shelter, whoever needs help.
Are these things usually
Stay
full
here.
at night?
Oh yeah, we're actually running at capacity. If you count this building and that building, we're at capacity. It's
there-
during the day right now, so obviously people are out and about.
Do you think there's a shortage of beds?
Oh my gosh, yes.
There is.
Oh my goodness. Oh, absolutely, there's a shortage of beds. That's what we're doing when we take this wall down. We're embarking on a project. We're going to put 40 permanent beds right in here. We're actually going to take rid of that office. We're going to expand our bathrooms because we're actually going to provide more beds in here. So we need to do all that.
Right.
But that other facility is a little bit bigger.
Let me ask this quick question.
Yeah.
Is it safe being here? I just ask because I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we have you saw we have cameras.
Right.
And I have an on-site security person, on-guard security guard that's helping if there's any issues at night.
Okay. So it's a safe place for people that
Yeah.
they come here. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Good. I like that.
So when you see a person with a shopping cart,
Yeah.
you know, that becomes their life. I mean, that's all their belongings. A lot of times that hinders them from going into a facility or a program because they don't want to get rid of that shopping cart.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
that-
you won't take that. There's no parking spots in there for those, right?
No, there isn't. But also too, they don't want to let that go because that's their possession. I mean,
Right.
they're holding on to that. That's all they have. So that, in essence, becomes an obstacle for them they don't want to let that go.
Wow,
That's all their
interesting.
stuff. It's like your car. You want to let your car go.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't let my car go. I mean, so it becomes an obstacle to get services.
Wow.
It's unfortunate.
Amazing.
Yeah. Shelter beds. There's about 100
More shelter beds.
130, 141 beds.
Whoa.
So yeah.
This is it. So let me ask you a question. If I stayed here last night, right? Let's say this is my bed I had last night.
Yeah.
I'm not guaranteed this bed tonight, right? Or am I?
Well, you are, because your stuff is in here, and if, let's say you are staying here over the long term.
Yeah.
Let's say you're going to be here for the next 30 days. You can, we work with you to have this bed back.
130,
141 beds.
141 beds,
141
man.
beds.
And you have a shortage.
Oh my gosh, yes. So we have 141 here, and then 38 over there, and then we're adding another 40. We're actually, when you take all of our numbers,
Yeah.
between our transitional, women's and recovery home and all that, we're nearly 300 people per night.
Man, incredible. No
Yeah.
idea.
You had no idea, did you?
Nope.
This is the other side of Bakersfield that people don't see. That there's a need. That there's people out there that are homeless that need help. And I mean, if you look at a cot like this,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a person's belongings right
That's
there.
their whole life.
That's it, man. I mean, that's the thing. We hold esteem to our high definition TV, right? Our smart TV or our PlayStations or whatever.
Yeah.
And this is what these folks have. So
Amazing. You know what's interesting is that we just had a young lady here and doesn't like to be around males, right? Feels uncomfortable, and it was kind of like a childlike fear, right? It wasn't like she was like kind of scared, but it's very like, really protective of what's around her, and it's just, you can only imagine what's happened in her past for her to be like that, and it kind of brings the bigger picture that every story is different.
and it's not a one size fits all. That's the thing, that every person that comes to these doors, whether a man, woman, or even community member, when they come get a meal, everybody has a different story, and not everybody's the same, and that's where we have to look at things, from that scope, that everybody's different. Everybody has different needs. Everybody comes from different backgrounds or different trauma that they've been to. I mean, a lot of these folks that come in have been through some sort of trauma in their lives. I mean, you saw the gentleman that you talked to early on in the conversation that, he had gotten a divorce, life started spiraling out of control, and he ended up here. He didn't think he was going to be here. Well, a lot of these folks didn't think they were going to be here. That's the reality. And the great thing about it is we live in such a community that's willing to help those people, and this is one of those places. But yeah, there's, going back to the early conversation, is when you went through the shelter side of things, I mean, there's a huge need here, and we're set to do more. So,
I got to ask you, man, how many volunteers come in through here or help you guys out?
hundreds of volunteers every year. I mean, we couldn't do the work we're doing here with volunteers, whether it's, providing a meal, or businesses getting behind and sponsoring a meal, or people teaching a class, or people checking people in, for shower times. I mean, we need even a church community, obviously, is in the forefront of what we're doing as well. Everybody get involved. I mean, we count on community. We count on this community to get behind what we do, because we also want to tell them, hey, these folks live in your community, in your backyard.
Right.
It is also our responsibility, not just our responsibility, but our responsibility.
The sad part is a lot of people in the community, the interaction that they may have with homeless people are getting things stolen from them.
Yeah, or panhandling, or
it's the negative
car.
stuff.
Yeah, it's the negative stuff.
And
right.
so you hate to see that. And it's like, and we just did a big census here, right? That they're going to be coming out with some numbers.
Yeah, we did a big census at the end of January, and the numbers are going to be presented probably the next 2 or 3 weeks. That's the goal.
And they had a lot of volunteers.
More volunteers now than we did the last couple of years combined. So,
that's great.
I mean, and with that, I do expect it's going to be an increase. I mean, just you have more volunteers, more people counted. So I mean, it gives us a good scope of the real numbers in our community of the homeless population.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at everything here, and I've seen it, and it's a complex system. It's not easy, right? There's a lot of moving components, and so at the end of the day, what's the solution? Is there a solution?
I do believe. I mean, I do believe. For example, in Kern County, this community is very benevolent. I didn't grow up in this town, but I can tell you that the more I see people coming and want to become aware of the issue, I think awareness is one of the things that needs to happen. We're doing a good job of telling people the issues as a community, but we have to become more aware. You told me earlier, you was like, "This is amazing. I've never seen this before," and you're probably from this area.
Yeah.
And you never seen something like this. I mean, awareness is another piece that needs to be.
I think the
part-
magnitude got me.
The magnitude,
You don't
yeah.
do it. You know, when you're seeing a few stragglers walk
Sure.
around the city, you say, "Oh man, these guys, you know, they're out here."
Sure.
But you get here to the epicenter, and you're here in the heart of it, man. You realize like this is a big deal.
It's a big
and then
deal.
when you're telling me that all this stuff here, all the things I'm looking at here, and you're telling me that there's a shortage, you know, after all these beds, I'm like, man, this is a big deal. And not only that, but you know, the people that come here probably only represents a fraction of the homeless people
That's
in
right.
this city. I mean,
That's right.
this is not a thing where most of the homeless people are here. This is probably like a small, you know, portion of the homeless people are here.
Right. So, I mean, it is a crisis throughout California. I mean, let me just throw some statistics. California holds 25% of the homeless population in the country, in the state of California. And why that is, I mean, it's very complicated. I mean, you have housing crisis, you have rents are going high, you have substance abuse, you have mental health, you have a myriad of things. But I do believe as a solution, as Kern County, I do believe having the type of community we have, as we see the awareness piece, it's rising, that we can come together and start helping one life at a time. Whether it's a kid that's coming through our programs that's been strung out on meth, or the person that's, you know, lost his wife in a car accident, or a person that's gone through a divorce or lost his job. I mean, I do think this community is doing what it needs to do, but there's obviously more to do in the days ahead.
The prevention side too.
The
as far as-
prevention is huge. I mean, I do think in the school systems, we have to get in there a lot sooner, a lot quicker to start talking about prevention, about drugs. Just like I mentioned to you, the Say No to Drugs that Nancy Reagan did back in the 80s. I remember it.
Yeah, it
I'm
sticks in your head.
It sticks in my head.
Yeah.
You know what, 35 years later?
Right.
That's something that needs to happen now in this day and time. I don't know if it's social media that takes the front seat to that,
Yeah.
the educational system, parents, the school systems, but we need to start working on prevention in the days ahead.
So
I mean,
you-
that's part of the solution too.
Right, so they don't end up here. I mean, that's the goal. Is like
That's the goal.
get them at the young age, so
That's
they
right.
don't end up here,
That's
and
right.
we're not doing it at the end game.
And the thing with homelessness, let me tell you as I wrap up, is it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. Every person has a different story. Every person has a different background. We can't treat them all the same. That's the thing we have to look at is every person has that story. We got to help them where they're at and meet their needs.
Well, you know, you're a cool dude, man, and I know why they have you in charge here. I mean, you got a good heart, and I think that this place will probably get better with you, like looking it over. So, congratulations on everything you've accomplished so far, and good luck to you as far as trying to get things, you know, moving forward. So,
Well, thank you guys for taking the time and coming down here.
yeah, you got your work cut out for you, man.
Well, it's a lot of work.
All right, very
You just
good.
reminded me again.
All right, very good. Thanks, man. This
Thank
is
you.
Carlos. This is Billy. This is Baker Schultz.